If your TV sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice.
All right, it is live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, on a Tuesday, brand new month, July 1st is here. Glad you're in, everybody. On a Tuesday night, Real America's Voice, Slick Rick is here. He's going to do some sports. Slickster, how are you?
Doing good, Big D. How are you?
Very good. How was your day today?
Good day, productive. Lot of things to do, but good. Busy like everybody else.
You know what I did today?
Can't imagine.
Had an old stove.
Oh. I hope it was inside, not outside, because it was like 100 degrees out.
He has a pool.
It was outside.
You have the pool,
lit up,
right?
One of those new cigars that we got.
How was it?
From that guy.
Yes.
Right?
Tasty?
The whatever it was, Don't Tread on Me or something like that. He sent those new yellow ones with the yellow wrapper that have the. Did you know those have the Constitution in the wrapper? It says "We the People" on the wrapper, and if you look at the wrapper, I should have brought it in to show you guys. I know this is riveting on TV.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Oh, sure.
But they have the Constitution in the wrapper.
Wow.
Like, it's hard to see. I don't know what they call the method of putting it on there, but it's so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Life,
great.
liberty, and a left lung.
But it was good, though, so that was fun. Actually got outside and relaxed a little bit today.
Yeah.
Good for you. You don't do that much. You're
No, I
always
do
on
not.
the go. I know.
I do not. So I actually went in the pool, which was nice,
Nice.
because it was about 100 degrees at one point today. So,
It was warm today.
yes, it was.
I was wearing a suit.
Vinny Mac is here. Vinny Mac, how was your day?
Yeah, I'm good. I went outside, too. I lost like 5 pounds. I mean, it's hot, humid. I feel like living in New Orleans right now.
Nolans, come on.
Well, I'll take this over what we've had for the last, seemingly forever,
Yeah, it was brutal.
which was cold and rain. I was in a sweater last week, so I'll take 90s.
Wow.
Not too humid, but
Yeah.
I'll take that over what we had.
Yeah. It was a good day, though. I'm working on that production I was telling you about. I'm producing a 90-minute show. I'll make that announcement at some point when it's ready. But that consumed most of my day.
I almost just said what it was. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, it's top secret right now. We can't talk about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cones of silence.
Oh, well, I'll just hold this over Vince's head because I know what it is. I could blurt it out at any time.
You see how I've shared it with you?
Yes.
I've shared a very important piece of information with you.
Well, I've known about it I've known the name for a long time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
But I promise you, I won't say anything.
No, well, don't
as
mention
long as you do what you're told.
Peter Lemongello. Don't mention any of these guys if you could. That would be great.
Are my tickets put aside for opening night yet?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
You just tell me what you want and who you want to go, and you're set.
Well, me and Slick.
I'm coming. Come on.
There'll be a lot of paparazzi there.
I probably have a nice suit in the closet just ready for that.
Well, when I tell you who it is, you'll have a particular outfit for it.
Okay.
I have an outfit for everything.
Slick's
Trust me.
going to get me one outfit, too, to wear.
Come on, Big D.
So
I'm going to
two
hook you
of them
up.
together.
Hook you up.
So, all right, very good. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. I'm glad you're in. What are we talking about tonight? I don't know. There's a lot to talk about, but I'll tell you what I want to start with, and it's not a story, but it's a Gallup poll. And it's the percentage of people who live in the country who say they're very or extremely proud to be an American. Now, before I tell you what the numbers are, and don't look at my screen, Vin.
Oh, thank you.
Or Slick. Well, Slick can't see it, but Vin could if he wanted to.
With my glass up.
Let's go. They went back to 2001 and looked at the same poll. They do it every year. In 2001, the percentage who say they're very or extremely proud to be an American, the Democratic Party, what do you think the percentage was in 2001? Slick, I'll give you first chance. What percentage out of 100% said they were proud to be an American in the Democratic Party in 2001?
I'm going to say 80%.
Okay, Vin?
No way. I say in the low 50s.
In 2001?
50, 53%.
No, you're way off. Slick is almost right there. 87%.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what it was in the Republican Party then?
In 2001?
Yep.
Oh, with Bush? Right? Probably 53%.
No, what are you kidding me, Vin?
I was going to go with Slick. Pretty close to that.
No, it's always higher than the Democrat. 90.
90?
90%.
In 2001?
Yep. Fast forward to
9/11. Yeah,
fast forward to 2025. What do you think the percentage is of the Democratic Party now who say they're very or extremely proud to be an American? Slick, your percentage would be?
45.
Okay. Vin?
34.
Oh, Vin's got you on this one, Slick. 36%.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow.
What do you think it is in the Republican Party today?
90%.
Vin?
Nope. 63, 64%.
Slick's got you, 92.
Wow.
Come on.
That's the gal.
I love that.
I love it too. I love
I'm
it.
so glad to be wrong.
That's a good one.
And
Wow.
it just once again proves the
Amazing.
I don't know how you share a country or a state or anything with these people. They hate the country.
Yeah.
True.
They're doing everything they can to tear it apart, and it just once again proves the Democrat Party hates America, and I don't think that's a stretch. Now, that doesn't mean all of them. I know plenty of people, friends who are Democrats who love the country, but the majority of this party, the mainstream party, does not, or at least in their actions, don't prove that they do. They certainly don't. They certainly don't. Are not in love with the ideals of the country, the founding documents of the country, what the country believes in, the idea of individual liberty, of the individual, private property rights, all of the things that we enjoy and cherish in this country, seemingly. And again, I want to just make the point: not every. I know plenty that do that have those, that love those things as well, but the majority of them. 36%.
Yeah.
Only 36% say they are proud to be an American here.
Because all they kind of run on, especially with the small percentage on the progressive left, they just run on negativity about the country,
Totally.
the divisive stuff. If it's not the George Floyd stuff where everybody's racist, there's an incident, not everybody's racist.
Nope.
It was an incident, a bad incident, but not everybody's racist. But of course, they say everybody's racist. Then there's the whole trans thing. Well, yeah, of course, everybody's trans. Not everybody's trans. Very few people are trans, and you're letting them play in women's sports. They take these isolated issues, but it's a small percentage of them that have scared so many people. I saw this quote today. You remember the actor John Cusack?
Sure.
Yeah, he's a great actor, right?
Paul was talking about him last night.
He was.
I enjoy his
Left
show.
job.
The 80s, baby.
Did he mention that he says Iran should get nukes to protect the Middle East from U.S. and Israel? This is the mentality of so many people on the left. To your point, I have plenty of friends that are liberals. I argue with them on a regular basis. They love this country. Okay? Period. And then you've got these folks. But those are the ones that we're talking about. They're the ones on the fringe left that get, visibility. And they're crazy.
Brad Smith, who's I believe he was the former chairman of the FTC, if I remember correctly. He said about this poll, he said, if you notice the Republican pride in the country has never fallen below 84% in this time from 2001 to 2025. The low was under Obama in 89%. That was in 2016, right before Trump took office. Pride amongst Democrats seems much more dependent on the party that's in power, dropping 26 points in the last year. Republicans are proud of the country, while the Democrats seemingly appear only proud of their party, which I think is an interesting way to say it. Interesting distinction.
Well, if you think about it, what did Chuck Schumer do with this bill that he was trying to delay everything with? He decided to read the entire bill, right? It took 2 days. What they should be reading in Congress is the Constitution, because it seems like none of them really know what the Constitution really says. They know how to say this is a constitutional crisis. They don't really know what it says. And I think that's something that we might have to force them to do. Read the Constitution. It's pretty clear. Like there's some things that you maybe can interpret a little differently, but it's very straightforward in how the country is laid out and the way that we have our freedoms, but also in the simplicity of how the whole thing works. And the things that they're all for, the things that they go crazy for, it's not in there. But they chose to read a bill instead of the Constitution. I think they should read the Constitution. I think they should all start reading the Constitution. Might help.
Yeah. Well, the other big news, obviously, is the big, beautiful bill that's been going on for the last 36 hours in the Senate. And now J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote as it was 50-50, make it 51. And now that gets out of the Senate and heads back to the House. And I said, I think it was yesterday's show. I said it'll be an interesting, as the bill gets back to the House, an interesting test on the Speaker, Mike Johnson, as he tries to weigh what the Senate did to the bill, the Freedom Caucus, and and making sure that he has enough votes to make final passage to get it to President Trump's desk. They're still shooting for July 4th, which, of course, is this Friday. And I was wondering what the speaker was going to think when the bill got back to them, given what the Senate did to it, which I think universally is agreed made it worse.
Definitely.
Well, and I see this headline in Politico tonight. Johnson on the mega bill. I'm not happy with what the Senate did to our product. And by the way, my opinion, as you all know, you don't all have to agree, it wasn't that great to start with. House conservatives like Representative Ralph Norman are chiming in to declare their opposition already to what the Senate did. Speaker Mike Johnson said he's not happy with the sprawling legislation the Senate Republicans just sent back to the House. Here's Johnson's quote. I'm not happy with what the Senate did to our product. We understand this is the process. It goes back and forth, and we'll be working to get all of our members to a yes, Johnson said outside. Of course, you know, I don't know about you. Maybe you don't agree. I'm really getting Pelosi vibes from this whole thing, and that we have to pass it to see what's in it. It just feels like a quick, like, don't worry about what the Senate did. We're going to ram this thing through and just try to get it passed. We're going to just shove it down your throat. I mean, that's the sense I get tonight in the little that I've heard people talk about it. Johnson said, so high stakes, aggressive schedule, and we knew we would come to this moment. The comments come as conservatives like Representative Ralph Norman are saying they won't vote for the domestic policy legislation, which Senate Republicans passed on the thinnest of margins, obviously this afternoon, after a grueling all-night vote-a-rama, as they're calling it. Norman told reporters outside the Rules Committee that the House should send back its original plan to the Senate and leave town, instead of even considering the Senate Republican plan. My advice to the House is to send the House bill back, pack your bags, go home, and tell them to get serious, Norman said. The math doesn't work. They've added $670 some odd billion, Norman said. I mean, billion nowadays, that's pretty light, isn't it?
I thought it was a trillion.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a T in front of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not even really serious legislation if we're not going to blow trillions. Asked whether July 4th is still realistic, Speaker Johnson said, we'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. So that's where we are. The bill comes out of the Senate today, 5150, back to the House, and we'll see what happens from here. We'll talk more about it. Plus, we'll do sports, news. Delgado will be here. He says he's going to be a little late. Live from Studio 6B. Brand new month, July 1st. Heading towards the birthday of the country. July 4th coming up on Friday. Again, no show on Friday. I'll remind you of that every day this week. But we'll be back right now on a Tuesday night. Hang on. Social media, we're coming in.
Hey, Carol, good to see you on Facebook. Thanks for the note. Glad to be back as well. Can't get on every night, you know, it's not easy. Delgado's learning late. His moped ran out of gas or something. I don't know what happened.
We'll get some story. We'll have to get the story out of him.
We'll get Wait, it could be the toe again. What is it?
Delgado got a flat on his saucer.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he has a...
His flying saucer melted like the Carvel.
Jeez.
Outside.
Elaine, good to see you too. Elaine Emmerich saying hello. Yeah. All Facebook peeps out there. Good to see everybody.
I don't know if the Delgado toe thing is really out there, but it might be now, Vin.
Yeah. Delgado blowing out his socks. It's possible.
Yeah, well, Delgado got a little toe issue, though, right?
I did a little behind the scenes tour, one night. I posted on Facebook, and people were like, hey, that's pretty cool. But can you go in the bathroom and see where Delgado hangs his socks? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah, we got to do that next time.
Michael
promise.
San, LFS6B, says, Emirati, what was so good about the lung joke was that it went right over my head. What is he talking about?
When I made the joke, life, liberty, and a left lung, when you were smoking the cigarette, 'cause you said the Constitution was in the cigarette. I'm sorry, the cigar when you were smoking the cigar.
Oh, no, I heard you say that. I just didn't think it was that funny.
Yeah, well, he did. They think it went over your head.
Yeah, I know.
Not that anything goes over your head. You catch everything.
Slick's got the quickest lines, man.
Ain't nothing getting over this head.
Did not know that. Did not.
Let's see. I don't know. It's going so fast, I can't. Way behind here.
Janice Danielle says, Vinny, tell Damon it's 115 degrees in Arizona. And, people always say, oh, it's 120 degrees, but it's dry air.
It's dry heat.
It's dry heat. It's hot. No matter how you slice it, that's hot.
Damon, what do you think of Bannon's take on the bill? I don't know what Bannon's take on the bill is. I don't get to, unfortunately, watch a lot of 10 to 12. So, I mean, I can't. How could he possibly think it's good?
I would think he's probably on your page. I mean, I would think he's similar to what you're thinking. Do you?
I would think. I can't imagine he thinks the Republicans should be lifting the debt ceiling $6 trillion and not getting rid of the Green New Deal. I mean, there's so much. How could he think any of it's any good, other than the tax cuts, which we know they could have put separately, which of course they don't. There's no defending this. I don't care what anyone says. But Besson or any of them. Ba-ba-da-da. 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
Here we go. Carl Tarbach says, Bannon says pass it because they are underestimating revenue. Something I've been on as well. I've been talking the revenue thing, but I don't like all the spending in here either.
Underestimating revenue.
Yeah.
We're going to grow ourselves out of this?
We did when Bill Clinton was president. Frankly, that's one of the biggest reasons why
what was the
we got a surplus.
What were the deficits we were running under Bill Clinton, and what was
just not even close?
What was the federal debt then?
I don't know the exact number, but it's not even close.
Oh,
what was the interest payment on the debt? People talk about the tariff money. Oh, fine.
Yeah,
up a couple $100 billion. If we get it to $1 trillion, that we could afford to pay the debt on the interest on the debt. I mean, this is what I'm saying when I say it's a B or a T. When you talk about B's anymore, it doesn't even matter. That's pocket change. Pocket change. It's like Doge. I heard someone say we're going to suck Doge after Elon Musk now. Didn't Trump say that or something? Well, if we're going to suck Doge over him, I don't think he's got much to worry about because they didn't. What did they find as far as we were promised how much? $2 trillion, $3 trillion in cuts? I don't think he's got too much to worry about if that's the case. I mean, that's just the numbers are. No one remember didn't we play a video of showing like what $1 million, what $1 billion, what $1 trillion would look like? No one can get their hands around the money situation in this country.
Yeah.
Nope.
The absolute annihilation that awaits us if we continue to do what we're doing. This is why I just laugh when people in the comments talking about whether it's Rand Paul or Massey and them. And I mean, the definition now of actually saying one thing and actually sticking to it and believing it now is equal to being some kind of a rhino scapegoat or something for these guys. It's like an upside down world. Upside down world. Damon, listen to this afternoon show on Bannon. Okay, maybe I'll go back and I'll do that. Damon, a Bannon guest said they plan on an additional CR bill in September.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
I'm sure it'll be clean too. Listen, nobody wants to. None of them want to cut spending. That's just the bottom line, except for a few, and those few get filleted, unfortunately, by everybody else, including the president,
who
says he's going to primary Thomas Massey. Maybe he will. I don't know.
He just wants it passed. And to me, I see a bunch of different dynamics going on. I feel like we're on a 5-lane highway.
There's parts of it we all want passed, Vin.
Yeah, I get it.
They could do that. They could do the immigration stuff, which is obviously vital. The tax cuts, which are vital, which are all good. There's maybe some other things they could do. They could be doing that. Instead of giving us the Nancy Pelosi we have to pass to see what's in it, all one big, beautiful bill, which it's not. No?
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree with some of your points on this. I was just going to make the point that, one, Trump's view of the bill is, I'm going to get as many things as I can in here so I can fulfill my campaign promises, all those various things that he talked about. 2, I'm going to drive the top line of the country the highest it's ever been. And he's doing that. He's walking the walk on that. So he's saying, I can offset some of this stuff. 3, I believe our Congress is so messed up on both sides of the aisle that getting real spending cut is not attainable, frankly. We are seeing that. If it was attainable, these dumb things they're spending money and wasting money on would have been cut out. Any normal sort of accounting process would have looked at this and said, cut this, a waste. Now, Doge did do some of that, but you simply can't get it passed because of the level of corruption. Look at USAID alone as one little thing. Now, that's over, right? They ended that. But how much money was flying through that place where they were paying themselves and their wives and their uncles and their friends all through this corrupt system? So my point is, I think where Trump is coming from is, I don't like any of that, but I don't know how I can get anything passed without having to cave on some of this right now, using revenue to offset it, and then trying to take bites out of these spending things as we go along. I think that's what his situation is. And Damon, the points you bring are totally legit. I agree with them wholeheartedly. I just don't think we could pass anything with those things in it. And therein lies the problem. The Democrats are counting on the Republicans to stalemate it. The Tea Party guys and all that stuff to not let anything pass. All these compromises are being made. The bill is filled with all sorts of spending that shouldn't be there. All of that stuff. The bottom line is, though, we have to pass something because they did put everything into one bill. I wish they didn't. I wish I had broken it up, but they did not. So I think that's what he's kind of pushing for, is just get me this thing passed. Let me get some of this going, and let's go tackle some of this other stuff after that with the CR and others.
A couple things I want to address in it when it comes to the policy of this bill. Alex Epstein has been following the Green New Deal scam and whether the Republicans were actually going to get rid of it.
Yep.
And the answer, of course, is no. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Obviously, I have it on our X. You can see it. Headline, the Senate totally fails to terminate the new green scam. And Aaron, if you could just throw this up, just so you know, this is what the House sent over. Terminate solar wind subsidies in 2028. That was a green check mark. Terminate the battery storage subsidy in 2028. Check mark. Repeal the credit transferability. Green check mark. The Senate sent it back to the House today.
Yep.
They extend. They got rid of all 3 of them.
Because they're corrupt. And it's a dysfunctional mess. And there's only a couple of votes.
A lot of windmill money coming in.
And we've got rhinos in there. And not only rhinos, we got Democrats who think they're Republicans. We've got several of those.
Man.
I mean.
Now, one of the other big things there was a lot of talk about yesterday was the Medicaid and illegal immigrants on Medicaid. So there's a couple of things floating out there today. Chip Roy has a little bit of a different take, but Eric Schmidt, who is, I believe, the former AG out there in Missouri, who's now the senator representing there, he says he had the following thread. Let me just bring attention to it, just to be fair here, because yesterday we thought this, I also thought that the vote that we saw, rejected the idea of taking them off Medicaid. So he says, the big, beautiful bill kicks 1.4 million illegal immigrants off Medicaid. For too long, Americans have been paying for the welfare of people who shouldn't even be in our country. Today, the Senate voted to end that. And yes, this did make it into the final draft of the bill. Yesterday, there were a lot of rumors floating around about the ban on Medicaid for illegal aliens being stripped from the bill. Thankfully, that's not true. It's very much in the bill we just passed. You can look it up below. He gives the page, he gives the section. He says, here's where the rumors came from. During yesterday's vote-a-rama, an amendment banning Medicaid for illegal immigrants was voted down. That's the video we all saw.
Yeah.
The clip of that vote started circulating online, and folks took that to mean that the provision had been stripped from the bill altogether. But that was just one of many messaging amendments designed to force Democrats to vote against specific provisions, in this case, a ban on some Medicaid funding for illegal aliens who commit heinous crimes on the record. It was meant to show the public how radical they are. The ban itself was already in the bill. It was never taken out. And it wasn't just a ban on some Medicaid for illegal immigrants who commit heinous crimes. It applies to all Medicaid for all illegal immigrants and most non-citizens generally. The bill we passed actually goes much further beyond banning Medicaid for 1.4 million illegal aliens. It also requires states to verify citizenship status before providing coverage, bans automatic Medicaid enrollment for children of illegal aliens, excludes DACA from Medicaid. According to the CBO, roughly 1.4 million illegal immigrants are currently on Medicaid, despite the fact they don't meet federal enrollment requirements, because blue states have expanded their federally funded Medicaid programs to include them. So just a little clarification, according to Eric Schmidt, on what was really the hot topic yesterday. So I'll finish what he said when we get back, 26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B.
I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you did, because
Hey, Damon, you need to trust the president. Quit second-guessing him, regardless of whether you like it or don't like it. Yeah, no, Bill, that's the definition of being in a cult. No, thanks. No, thanks. I'll think critically about each and everything, and some I'll like and some I won't. I won't like the things I actually don't like just because you want me to grab the pom-poms. Sorry.
Did you like Kool-Aid when you were a kid?
No.
It makes sense.
give me some red dye, please. Where's red dye when you need it?
I won't drink the Kool-Aid. You're going to find Big D hanging around in Guyana.
Well, let me ask you this question on the bill. If it had all the things that you wanted to be removed from it, all that spending and everything, which everybody, I'm sure, agrees, we don't want that. The challenge is...
It's more like a policy thing, right, than it is a spending bill. It's more like a policy thing.
Well, do you think a bill like that would pass in the current shape of the House and Congress?
I think they could do more than one reconciliation bill. Yes, I do. The Democrats did it. Why can't we do it? Why are we trying to jam everything into this one? We've lost all the leverage. What we should have been doing is a hardline, hardcore immigration, which we all knew was important, the tax cuts, which we all knew were important, and whatever again, what do I always say? If we could just message what it is we believe in, okay, here's the things we're trying to achieve. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing they do to us. But we don't do that.
Yeah, we should have. I'm with you. I don't disagree with that at all. But in the context of what it is right now, it's a big bill. It's in there. How it got there, I can't defend it. All I can say is it's where it is now. Do you think if we cut out all that spending that it would ever pass the House and Senate? And I don't think that's possible. That's really where my point is. I wish it were possible, and I wish it happened the way you describe it.
Won't vote for it?
I don't think they get the Republican votes. No, they won't get the Democrat votes 100%, and we know that no matter what. But I don't think they get the Republican votes. No, I think the only votes they'll get, it'll be split.
I got a couple of super chats, Big D. Drag Blacker, you guys are too upbeat tonight. Remedy this by replacing Slick and Vinny with 3 depressed Damons and 1 Davis Hansen. All right, Drag Blacker weighing in, your favorite fan there. And who else is in there? I think John Lavoie also sent something.
Are they saying we're too mellow tonight? Or,
John Lavoie, Damon, time to pour some bourbon. $2. Thank you for the super chat. $2 will get me half a shot.
Sounds good, actually. Yeah,
get that bourbon. Pour that bourbon. Come on, Big D.
I don't think we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to do that on TV? I don't think so.
Oh, we're not allowed. It's against the law, Aaron?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, you can look at it.
It's almost Independence Day, and all of America will be celebrating. But here in Real America's Voice, we want to celebrate you. Every day from June 30th through July 4th, we're giving away a handcrafted, hand-painted hardwood flag to one lucky RAV viewer. These beautiful flags come from YourAmericanFlagStore.com, where 10% of every purchase goes to Your American Flag Foundation. Scan the QR code to opt in for your chance to win and receive future RAV promotions. From our hearts for your home. Use code RAV for free shipping.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday, July 1st, brand new month, halfway through the year. Q3 starts today.
Ouch.
Q3, always interesting to see what happens in the markets.
Wow.
Yeah, Q3.
That's amazing.
I
We're
know.
just celebrating New Year's.
Halfway through the year. Crazy, right?
I know.
We're as far away from the last Christmas as we are close to the next Christmas.
Yeah. Christmas
that
in
one,
July,
Slick?
right? That's
Yeah.
the famous saying.
All right, speaking of slick, let's do some sports. Then we'll do some news with Vinnie Mac here, 31 past the hour. Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. If you want to shop at My Pillow at checkout, use code LFS6B to give you a great savings off all the great stuff you put in your cart there at My Pillow. Slickster, what's going on in sports
All right, Big
tonight?
D, let's get to the scoreboard first. Major League Baseball, Twins right now trailing the Marlins 1-0, middle of the eighth. Pitchers duel right there down in Florida. We got the Pirates and Cardinals, no score, middle of the seventh, another pitcher duel. Athletics and Rays tied at 2, top of the sixth. In a rain delay up in Boston, little rain up there, Big D. The Reds trail the Red Sox 2-1 in a, I guess it's a rematch of the 1975 World Series. What a World Series that was. Angels and Braves, no score, end of 4. Middle of the second, no score, Orioles and Rangers. Cubs 1-0 over the Guardians, bottom of the second. Earlier today, the Yankees got bombed by the Blue Jays, 12-5 up in Toronto. Yankees better check their passports on the way home. Astros playing the Rockies at 8:40 first pitch. 9:40 is Royals and Mariners out in Seattle. Giants and Diamondbacks getting it on in Arizona, 9:40 there. And White Sox way out in L.A. at 10:10 first pitch on the West Coast. And, Wimbledon, some major upsets today, including in the women's. American tennis pro Jessica Pegula suffers stunning early Wimbledon exit. Elisabetta Cocchiaretto is ranked 116th in the world, down to her today. Paulina Dodge of Fox News. American tennis pro Jessica Pegula suffered a stunning and early exit from Wimbledon in the first round on Tuesday when she was defeated in under an hour by 116th ranked Italian Elisabetta Cocchiaretto. Cocchiaretto, for 24, managed to pull off her first ever top 5 win at Wimbledon with ease, defeating Pegula in straight sets, 6-2, 6-3. That's a smoke show. To play here in such an unbelievable stadium and such an unbelievable tournament, it's a dream come true for me. I was so pumped to play Wimbledon this year, Cocchiaretto said during her on-court interview following the match. I played a really great champion. She's an unbelievable player. She's a great example for us. Pegula's loss comes just days after she defeated Iga Swiatek, another great one, in straight sets on grass to win the Bad Homburg Open in Germany. Unlike in her match against the 5-time grand champion, Pegula struggled against Cocchiaretto's aggressive play, hitting only 5 winners and making 24 unforced errors. I mean, Pegula is a world 3 rank, so this girl's 100.
It's tough on the grass if you're not really on.
Yeah,
it's a hard surface to really win on, frankly, no matter who you are.
Yeah, it's a whole different game. You could see how some of the players, even back in the day with McEnroe and they were.
It's the most dramatically different surface of all the ones they play. I mean, it's dramatically different.
Bjorn Borg was fantastic on
So
grass.
you can lose easily to someone who's probably you would beat normally.
I know. Amazing. That's a major upset there. So, and there's a big one too. Two in the world of sports, because I always bring you the constant variety of transgender in sports. UPenn to apologize for allowing trans swimmer Leah Thomas to compete on women's team. Apparently, UPenn has seen the light of day, Big D. This is Elizabeth Weibel of Breitbart.
I think they actually spoke on the phone to the Trump administration. Is probably like it. I think they saw the light.
Yes,
you know
they saw
what I mean?
the light.
They saw the light of money.
They saw the dollars
floating away.
Yeah, the dollars were going to be drowning. The University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, has agreed to apologize for allowing infamous transgender college swimmer Leah Thomas to compete on the women's team, resolving Title IX violations. In a press release on Tuesday, the Department of Education announced that the university had entered into a resolution agreement to comply with Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972. The Department of Education explained that UPenn would restore to female athletes all individual UPenn Division I swimming record titles or similar recognitions which were misappropriated by male athletes allowed to compete in female categories. UPenn will also send a personalized letter of apology to each impacted female swimmer, I guess Leah Thomas, and issues a public statement to the university community explaining that it will comply with Title IX and will not be allowing biological males to compete in women's sports. As a former UPenn swimmer who had to compete against and share a locker room with a male athlete, I am deeply grateful to the Trump administration for refusing to back down on protecting women and girls and restoring our rightful accolades, former UPenn swimmer Paula Scanlon said in a statement. I am also pleased that my alma mater has finally agreed to take not only the lawful path, but the honorable one. As Breitbart News previously reported, in March, the Trump administration paused $175 million in federal funding, to your point, Big Day, to UPenn over the university's inclusion of biological males in women's sports. The pause of millions of dollars in federal funding to UPenn was pending an investigation into the university's alleged Title IX violations. So, money talks. Transgenders walk. That's a wrap in sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 36 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, what's on your mind in the news?
There's two stories that I've picked up that are really bugging me. I do want to touch base on what Slick was just talking about, because Trump has held back money. These schools should not get a penny, not one penny, until they comply with what the law is.
It's the law.
And the rule and Title IX.
This is not personal opinion. It's the law.
No. And it's also not a subjective thing.
No.
This is just a very factual matter. They should not get a penny. Trump has held stuff back. He's done the right thing. I'm very pleased with what he's done, but he's done it in increments. Mm-hmm. My point is, it's zero.
Yep. You got to cripple them, and then they'll come to the table a lot quicker. This took too long.
Yeah.
Trump's only been there 6 months, so God bless him. I mean, he got it done. But
also the fact that they let this Leah Thomas, what's her name? Leah what?
Thomas. Yep.
Leah Thomas, compete, and now of course they got a reverse course. Yeah, it's just baloney.
Baloney is right, but. Hopefully this will set the record straight, and hopefully J.D. Vance will be in for the next 12 years, and we'll have 16 years of this kind of life, with the sports.
I hope so.
And everything else as well.
We need to have that kind of a run. But I was watching the news conference with Kristi Noem talking about DHS and various other things that are going on around this country. And I've also heard this story about this app that tracks ICE. Have you guys talked about this?
I don't know. I don't think so.
There's an app that's out there, and it tracks ICE agents. And there are people that'll go on that who don't want to be caught by ICE, right? And they use the app, which is, this happens. If you're on that side, some technology guy whipped up an app, and they have it. Don't like it. ICE is, I cannot believe the bad rap ICE is getting, but okay, they made an app and they're tracking ICE agents. But to have one of our biggest networks in the country, if not the world, in CNN, literally promoting this app, talking about it, promoting it, getting people to use it is horrific. This is a news organization. Now we know that they really. I know it's not too seriously to be taken as they are a news organization, but they've broken every rule, and now they're propagating and pushing and recommending and talking about this app that tracks ICE agents and interferes with them. So what does it do? It puts them in harm's way. Of course, puts all of us in harm's way because they can't arrest the bad guys in a lot of these cities where they're using the app. But it really struck me as one of the more abominable things that the media has done to support something like this. So Kristi Noem and Tom Homan have both said they're going to look into this and see if there's an ability to prosecute them on it. And I look at all these things going on. Trump suing networks and winning. People suing these media people and winning things. We have the DOJ looking at a lot of the things that they're doing. And here's just an absolute gross misuse of what they do to really hurt people. So kudos to looking into it. But I wanted to point out, we not only have a bad media, it's not all the bad things that we think it is. I hate to even go as far as Trump does, but it's true. They seem to be like the enemy of the people. They actually seem to be that.
They seem to be. They are that.
They are.
They are. I agree with that, but I hesitate to go that far sometimes because I'm like, well, it's political, it's this or that, they're biased. This is beyond politics. These people are in serious harm's way. The ICE agents, there's several clips I saw today where they're being followed by cars and they've stopped. And they go in, they check out these cars, make sure they're not, going to have guns or start shooting them or whatever. These guys are taking their lives at risk every time they go out there. And here's an app saying we're coming. Imagine if there's an app that, just showed where all the police were or where, drug dealers are or all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, great.
And a network was promoting it.
Here's the clip from CNN today. Cut 10. Roll that, Aaron.
One tech developer is pushing back with an app designed to track ICE activity in real time. It's called Ice Block, and it's controversial to say the least. CNN Claire Duffy is with us now. How does this work, Claire, and what are the legal implications?
Yeah, John, I talked with Joshua Aaron, who is the longtime tech worker who developed this platform, and he said he really wants it to be an early warning system for people about the location of immigrations and customs enforcement officers. So he says he does not want people interfering with those officers' activity, but he does want people to be able to avoid them altogether if they want. So you open the app, it looks like a map, and users can tap the map. 5 miles of that sighting will get a push alert. This is a free iPhone app. It is anonymous. Aaron says he doesn't collect any user data. And what I think is really interesting about this in this moment is we've seen so many of the biggest leaders in tech supporting President Trump. But Aaron is sort of an example of the fact that there are people within the tech industry who are really resistant to Trump's policies. I asked him what he would say to those tech leaders who, for example, were at the inauguration. Here's what he told me. Take a listen.
I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
And John, I should say that ICE did not respond when I asked them about this platform and about Aaron's opposition to their activity.
I would say the opposite. Talk about shareholders. How about I love this country?
Yeah.
How about there's law and order? Can you imagine if there was an app that terrorists used to track our law enforcement who's trying to arrest them? Terrorist cells.
He might be working on that, Vin, What could be his next
This
feature?
is the same thing. What they don't realize, it's exactly the same thing.
Terrible.
These people are dangerous, many of them, and ICE is trying to apprehend them. And we all get scared of terrorists, right? I mean, oh my God, terrorists. It's a similar dynamic. And this tech guy thinks he's doing, that's the thing that's so mind-boggling. I think it goes to the point that we were talking about earlier where, we're just like, where did this party go? Why is their approval rating so low? You have someone like this that thinks he's doing a good thing.
Yep, and he's not collecting user data. Did you pick up on that too? That's interesting, right? Of course not. Right? Protect them as well.
That it defies logic why they think this is helping society.
Defy logic.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. We're back right after this. Vin, you'll like this tweet. Republicans are now flooding the ICE Block app, an app used to help illegals evade ICE, with false reports in an effort to render the app unusable.
Yeah, well, if that's what you need to do. But my point is you shouldn't need to do this. This app should be not allowed in an app store.
Well, here's the other question. Why does it not violate 8 U.S.C. 1324, which says it's illegal to knowingly harbor, conceal, or shield an undocumented immigrant from detection by immigration authorities?
Exactly. And you have CNN. That one clip showed them talking about it, but they've been promoting it all day, all over the place. And I'm sure other, liberals in mayor cities or the blue and all that kind of nonsense, Chicago and all the other crazies that are out there are doing the same thing. Are you familiar with the Second Amendment cuts in the big beautiful bill? Gerald Hawkins has been talking about that, and there's a bunch of cuts in there.
What happened to my?
Especially, the things having to do with firearms and so on. What's up, Rick? How are you, buddy? Your moped ran out of gas?
Delgado, you finally landed. They found a spice.
Yeah.
Beam you down.
That's good.
Man, it's raining out there. Whew. It is raining hard.
You got parachute marks on your side there but you're okay.
At least they're not skid marks.
Well, I don't want to go that far.
NHRA.
But there were cuts to what was put in to weaken the Second Amendment that Charles been talking about, and they got them out. Thank God. But Gerald, I'm going to get to the bottom of that. We'll talk about it.
Chat.
I am. Yes. Way.
I mean, I have to say the right to bear arms is like probably more important now than it's ever been. Yeah, it's crazy. Thank God we have the Second Amendment, because if these lefties get in office again.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what they do. I mean, look at the Supreme Court, what we just went through with the judges. I mean, that's pretty damn clear too.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. So, Vin, here's what I could quickly find. The NRA said Senate votes to eliminate NFA tax on suppressors and short-barreled firearms. NRA commends the senators who voted to eliminate the burdensome NFA tax on constitutionally protected suppressors and short-barreled firearms. We urge the House to concur with the Senate's language, pass the one big beautiful bill, and send it to President Trump for his signature. He's the NRA executive director. That was yesterday, July 1st. Today, 7 hours ago, this is your confirmation that the OBBB is royally screwing legal gun owners. The Jim Cramer of the Second Amendment is voicing their support. Bad times ahead. Also, the tax was not eliminated. It was set to a rate of 0. Don't let them use clever language to lie to you. So, again, it's all about how they say things and the parsing of the language. Gun owners of America. That's not recent. We'll have to do a little more research and see. But I have seen some of this. People were not happy. Of course, this has been going on. This is in the original House bill. People were not happy.
Right.
That they had originally put some of this stuff in. So
where does that come from? Like we have way more votes in the House. How would that even find its way in a bill? I could see in the Senate where we're just on a sliver, with the Democrats, and we've got like 3 or 4 Democrats who think they're Republicans besides. But the House, we got a few more seats there. How could any of that be in a House bill? How?
Well, Representative Keith Self from Texas, 3rd Congressional District tonight says the Senate's big, beautiful bill, it now extends the Green New Scam. This is not what the American people voted for. This is not President Trump's ideals. This is a swamp creation. It fails to terminate the Green New Scam. And it goes through a bunch of stuff. Let me see here. I'm just getting a text from someone who would certainly know about guns, that's for sure. Uh-oh. The bill originally pulled short barrel rifles, shotguns from NFA control, also removed suppressors from NFA control. Okay, so that's I don't know. We'll have to do some more research on whether where we stand right now. So Delgado, how are you?
I am good.
What took so long to land the saucer?
Well, actually, it was my stepson there, Connor. He was playing some basketball.
Oh, nice.
And now that he's graduated high school and not playing in college, any chance I get to go watch him play, I'm going to try and take.
Oh, Big D knows that.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I like that
Nobody can
dedication.
argue with that.
Nobody can argue with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And how did he do?
Great.
Okay, good. Very good.
23 points, 18 rebounds.
Let's see. I think he had 18 points, like a bunch of rebounds.
Okay.
One in-your-face block. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've been
Nice.
there.
And
Nice.
I've been there with that.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
moving and groove.
Ben, you rejection.
That was on the hoop that you
Vince
hang
been
over
dealing
the
with
closet
rejection.
door, Ben.
I got my Nerf hoop in the bed. No, I run the picket fence when I can. Yeah, whenever I can.
I'm sure you do. All right, let's do some
dribble.
sports here. We'll wrap up hour one. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slickster's got it. Slick Rick, what's going on in sports?
All right, Big D, we're going to go back to the scoreboard one more time. We're going to get you updated on baseball. Marlins 2-0 over the Twins there,
Mets
top of
lose
the ninth.
again?
What's that?
The Mets lose again?
The Mets, I think the Mets had a day off from losing because they were off today.
Wow. So
They still got a
They got a
loss.
little like, well, your Yankees got hammered today with
Yeah.
Toronto, smoked them 12-5. Good night. Pirates and Cardinals, no score there. Top of the eighth, pitches duel. End of the sixth, the A's over the Rays 3-2. Red Sox continue to lead the Reds 2-1. They're in a rain delay up in Boston. We're getting heavy rain down here in New York as well right now. Angels and Braves, no score. End of the fifth. Bottom three, also no scores. Orioles and Rangers. And we have the Cubs 3-0 over the Guardians. Bottom of the third. Astros and Rockies, no score through one. And as I said, Yankees losing to the Blue Jays earlier today. Royals, Mariners, Giants, Diamondbacks, White Sox, Dodgers, all coming up later on this evening. And we got, a couple of stories out there right now. Caitlyn Clark is out again. So Caitlyn Clark ruled out for a Commissioner's Cup final as Fever Star misses third straight game with injury. This really calls for the reason why there's starting to be rumors and rumblings of them starting another league, with her involved. I don't think that's going to happen. Sounds like a negotiation ploy a little bit there, but it is getting a strong.
Well, they keep knocking her down.
Strong rumor. Yeah,
How's she not going to get hurt? They keep trying to beat the hell out of her.
This is the golden goose here, and there's something's going on here for her to be out. And anyway, Clark was named 2025 WNBA All-Star Game captain earlier this week. Paulina Dadaj reporting from Fox News. The Indiana Fever will be out guard Caitlyn Clark for the third straight game after announcing that the 2025 All-Star Game captain will remain sidelined with a groin injury from the Commissioner's Cup championship game against the Minnesota Lynx on Tuesday night. They're real big rivals, it is. The Fever announced Clark's absence in the status report before the game, which will not count towards the team's regular season standings. It comes a day after Clark told reporters following a practice session that she was feeling optimistic about her health. I feel good. I'm going to be day-to-day from here on out, and I'm doing everything I can to put myself in a position to play the next game every single time. That's always my goal, is to be available for the next game, Clark said Monday. Obviously, we reported last night there was a special Kobe Nike that was made for her that sold out literally in minutes. Nike sold out their entire inventory. So, we're keeping an eye on this girl. I think we all agree we really love her. I know Damon was the first one actually to point her out to me years ago when she was in college there. But I got to tell you, she's really changed the game. She is the Michael Jordan of her sport. It's great to see a young lady like this. You know what? She's a bright light right now for me. With all the going on with the transgender in sports and all the issues that we continue to have, things are getting better, like the UPenn. We talked about that earlier today.
I
They
heard
finally
that.
saw the light, or they saw the $175 million they were going to lose, one or the other, but they saw it just the same. Whether it's an armored car going down the street or a light train coming up the track, they saw it, and now they made their change. But what I like about her is that she is a bright spot for girls to look up to in sports. I don't think we have any men playing
She's
in
awesome.
the WNBA that we know of. Well, is Brittany Griner still
Brittany
in the
Griner,
WNBA? Well,
you know
all right.
what?
You got a couple,
I
right?
think he should ask the Russians about Brittany Griner. I'm talking about Trump.
Right.
You know what? Because think about it. Why would the U.S. give up an arms dealer of the caliber that they gave up for female basketball? Think about that. Unless there was something that Putin and his buddies go, you know what? We're going to tell everybody that this is really a guy unless we get him back.
Oh,
That could be.
Right?
all right.
And of course, the doddering old fool
Conspiracy theory there. Yeah.
known as President Biden was probably like, hey, here you go. Take who else do you want? Right?
It could be. No question.
You know what? It's just a theory.
But this thing with
I'm throwing
Clark
it
that
out
Slick
there.
was talking
Tinfoil
about.
hat.
Plus, you'll never see her in a bikini.
Oh,
You will
boy.
never see
Yeah.
Brittany Griner in a bikini.
Maybe a mankini.
Much like any of the boys who show up to race girls track where they wear very tight bottoms, the boys always wear shorts. You'll always see it. That's how you know, hey, that's a dude.
Wow.
Oh, no question
Wow.
about it. Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to check this out. I hadn't looked into this Brittany Griner
I have.
thing
I
at
see
all.
this all the time.
And some good news in sports. Hall of Famer Randy Moss will return to ESPN gig after missing time due to treatment for cancer. So that's great news. Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. Hall of Fame legend Randy Moss will make a return to full-time broadcasting duties at ESPN after leaving the set of Sunday NFL Countdown last year to battle cancer. The Athletic first reported Moss's return. Last year, Moss stunned viewers after announcing cancer had been detected outside his bile duct between his pancreas and liver. That Viking legend underwent a successful surgery in December in which he received chemotherapy and radiation. However, due to the intensive nature of the treatment, Moss had to step away for 2 months while recovering from the bout with serious disease. Moss made a special appearance, Super Bowl appearance for ESPN. That was a nice video that they played for him. But Randy's return on Super Bowl Sunday was an emotional lift, not just for our team, but for the entire football community. And knowing he will resume his full Sunday NFL Countdown schedule beginning week 1 has been the highlight of the offseason, ESPN said in a statement. So, Randy Moss, welcome back. Good to see him come back from cancer. Anytime you see something like that, it's really uplifting. Randy Moss, great player. I couldn't stand him when he played for the Vikings. He destroyed my Cowboys every time they played.
He's a great player.
And the Cowboys passed on him in the draft. They took Greg Ellis, but let's not be bitter about that. That was a long time ago. We're moving on. Big D, 1 minute to go. It's a wrap in sports. Back to you.
You don't sound bitter at all, Slick.
Not at all.
Not at all. Sounds good.
Don't take it personally.
Hour 2 coming up. Delgado's here. We'll do some news, top headlines in the world, or whatever the hell he's calling them these days. All coming up hour 2. Plus, we'll talk about, very important, what President Trump wants to do before the midterms.
Slick, on this Caitlyn Clark thing, man, it's such reverse discrimination. I mean, they have come out against her in a racist way, frankly. You know, when Larry Bird entered the NBA and Magic.
From French Lick, Indiana.
People, you know, were like, who is this guy? He was one of the few, you know, white guys, I guess, coming into the league. But they rehabilitated that whole league. Everybody made millions after that. Millions upon millions and millions.
I mean, Irvin Johnson had some,
No, Magic and Bird.
That was a great comment. Yeah.
But Bird was, you know, this slow white guy that came in, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Caitlyn Clark is revitalizing the entire league. Every one of them should be kissing their ass.
On her own, by the way, with no help.
On her own, because they're all going to make much more money. But instead, they're
jealous.
Petty racism they're going against her.
They're very
and
jealous.
Trying to hurt her.
Yeah.
They don't understand. I mean, just the history showed us exactly what's going to happen here.
I saw something today that they ranked her as the number 9 guard in the WNBA. Some poll that was done.
I mean, that just does not make sense.
Absolutely insane. They're just jealous. I saw the story quickly. I forget.
Why are they trying to keep her down? Like even the league and the officials.
Well, yeah,
I mean, the officials are not. She doesn't have to be protected, but for God's sakes, the stuff that's happened to her is outrageous.
And basketball is such a ticky-tack sport to begin with. You can call anything for any reason. So if you want to protect somebody, you can call anything, you know, to help her.
She's
really getting whacked. I know.
I mean, these are not. Yeah, if it was ticky-tack, it'd be one thing. She's getting hit hard. Julian Martinez, how are you, buddy? Good to see you out there. From Whittier, California, I believe. All good people out there. Greta? I think Greta Garbo's out there cutting the lawn or something. I heard she posted something that she's riding the tractor.
Nice.
She works hard, man. She runs an entire farm.
Yeah, she does.
Holy cow.
Maybe we should do the show from her farm one day.
I can. We'd love to do that.
Love that.
Yeah. I can barely handle my lawn.
You're totally horsing around on that sit. Come on.
Randall Treat says she isn't a lesbian either. That's that's talking about Caitlyn Clark.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, we don't care, do we? We don't care about that.
Nah, we're not that.
No, we're very. You know, we welcome everybody. Just be
Yes.
sensible and have common sense, and do whatever Rick Delgado says.
Right.
It's simple as that.
Or else.
Or else.
Rump.
A rump. You know they're making Spaceballs too, right?
Yep.
You heard about that? I can't wait for it, to be honest.
How is Mel Brooks still alive? God bless him.
98 years old.
If your television sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B.
It is live from Studio 6B, hour 2, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Vinnie Max here. He's going to do some more news. Slick Scott Sports. Rick Delgado has joined us for hour 2. Biggest headlines in the world, all coming up. So we'll get to those. I heard Trump talk about this, I believe, today. By the way, did you all see him go to Alcatraz today?
Yes.
Alligator Alcatraz?
Yes, I do.
Down there in Florida?
Yeah. DeSantis was amazing, too.
Yeah, he was.
Big Daddy.
Realize how much we appreciate that guy.
Of course, the haters, I'm sure today, were not happy to hear President Trump discuss what we all knew his relationship with the governor was. I mean, people wanted to have them, of course, separated and at each other's throat and all kinds of stuff. Meanwhile, they're playing golf together. It's like, hello. And he just affirmed that today.
Yeah.
As he went down there. And what the governor and what the AG have done in Florida with this facility is, 6 weeks?
Yeah. Well, it was a former airport.
Right.
So a lot of the infrastructure was kind of in place, and it didn't take long for them to kind of bring it up to
If
speed.
the same kind of infrastructure was in place in D.C., how long do you think it would take the feds to do something like this? Or if in New York they were going to convert one of these buildings into something, how long do you think it would take them to do it?
Probably 87 years.
About 10 years in, they'd be like, okay, we're just getting out of the planning phase.
And a couple of billion later.
Think about it. California still can't build a train. A choo-choo. Can't build it.
The president was fired today down there, by the way. By the way, great shout out to, if you haven't seen it, Brian Glenn was in a hallway.
Oh, yeah.
With, did you see this?
Yeah.
We have this clip? He was in the hallway with Brian Glenn, and he was ready to go out. He said, are we ready? Okay, let's go. And then he saw Brian. He said, Brian. And he said, hello, sir. And Trump stops, turns around to Governor DeSantis and says, hey, Ron, come here. I want you to introduces him to Brian. And he says, DeSantis says, who does he work for? And then Brian says, Real America's Voice. And Trump gives him a big, you're the man. And he, it was pretty funny.
That's
and then
fantastic.
Talks about how he's dating Marjorie Taylor Greene. And, man, it was a good time had by all.
Wow.
That was pretty good. It was a pretty good clip. It was a great clip, actually. A great moment. You can tell President Trump's relationship with Brian, and of course, why not? I mean, Brian's the man.
Yeah.
What's there not to like about Brian? Nothing. He asks great questions, and
he reprimands world leaders
and
on
tells
their,
everybody to
on
put
their
on a
attire.
suit. So
And he likes New York pizza when we have him here. He likes that New York
pizza.
pizza.
Not like about that.
A lot of good
New York
things.
pizza.
But no, that was good. And did you hear President Trump asked about the what will become the face of the Democratic Party, and that is the mayoral candidate for the Democrats, even though he's just the mayoral candidate in here, the biggest city in the world. He will be the face of the 2026 midterms.
Good.
Because there's no way someone like President Trump is going to miss that opportunity to brand that party with him as the face of it.
Perfect.
That is 1,000,000% guaranteed to happen, and it should. Because that guy is a radical Islamist who is a Jew-hating, America-hating representation of what the Democrat Party has become. And he will absolutely be the face of that party in 2026 with the commercials writing themselves already. And to that point, I heard President Trump talk about this today, and I had seen this article. Trump's effort to remove non-citizens from the census would affect elections. If the second Trump administration fails to win court approval of its expected effort to exclude illegal migrants from the census, this time around, it will have backup. This is by Ben Weingartner over at The Federalist from yesterday. And he says, following a years-long surge in illegal immigration, the Trump administration is poised to challenge a long-standing but legally fought practice counting illegal aliens in the U.S. Census. By the way, the border numbers came out today for the second month in a row. Zero would be the number of illegal aliens released into the United States. That would be 0. This June, May, 0. President Trump tried to end the practice during his first term of counting illegal aliens in the census, but President Biden overturned that policy before it was implemented. Now, the red state attorney generals and Republican legislatures have given the second Trump administration a determination to, quote, clean up the census and make sure that illegal aliens are not counted. What Stephen Miller has mentioned and didn't mention are the political implications of the administration's move. It could have significant political implications because the census count is used to apportion House seats, determine the number of votes each state gets in the Electoral College for selecting the president, and drive the flow of trillions of dollars in government funds. Some immigration researchers project that including non-citizens in the census count disproportionately benefits Democratic states with large illegal alien populations. A recent study counters that. Based on 2020 census figures, there would have been a negligible shift to the political map had the U.S. government excluded non-citizens from that count. But looking backward, those researchers found red states would have actually benefited under the administration's desired census counting shift. Had authorities excluded such migrants from the 2010 census, Louisiana, Missouri, Montana, Ohio, North Carolina would have all gained 1 seat in the House of Representatives, while California would have lost 3 seats. Texas and Florida would have each lost 1, with the total number of Electoral College votes allotted each state changing accordingly. Since the first, and listen, we have talked about this. There is absolutely nobody, I don't think, at least on this panel or in this audience, questions the Democrats' motive for letting 20 million people in the country over the last 4 years was to change the makeup of the country, change the voting bloc of the country, to fulfill their desire for forever power, forever control, through letting everybody in, knowing they would most likely vote Democrat, because if they thought they weren't, they wouldn't be in.
Right.
That's been the plan. It's been a takeover of America through immigration change, through changing the makeup of these states and cities all across the country to vote for them to be forever in power.
You know, I want to jump on that for a second, because we were talking earlier, Rick, before you got here, about the Constitution, about those federal judges that the Supreme Court overruled, about very logical, common sense things. Now, let's just look at this in a common sense way. It's the U.S. Census report, number 1. That's for U.S. citizens, I would think, right? It should normally be that. This is common sense.
It sounds like common sense, but you're dealing with bureaucrats.
You're dealing with bureaucrats. Okay, but it's a U.S. Census. And that U.S. Census, based on populations and counts, affects the number of seats for that serve the U.S. citizens. They don't serve illegal citizens.
No.
They serve U.S. So I come back to the logic tree that the Supreme Court's supposed to be helping us with. Like, if we took this to the Supreme Court, how could anybody rule that this has to include people who are here illegally? It defies the most basic of logic from our Constitution and from the Supreme Court. So this whole issue, I listened to this whole thing, and I'm like, I can't even believe we're even having the discussion, because it makes 0 sense.
Well,
and I can't believe it's even being defended.
Well, we're also having the discussion about men and female sports. so this one, that doesn't seem
I
as
guess
crazy
par
as
for the
that.
course, right?
Well, more closely tied to this will be the discussion over whether kids of illegals gets, the Supreme Court decision we just had.
Right.
Yeah.
Birthright citizenship.
Birthright citizenship. Yeah.
That will be more closely tied to this because of obviously the 14th Amendment. And the language of the 14th Amendment and the meaning of the 14th Amendment. And the census issue hinges on the Constitution's language, which calls for apportioning House seats among the states, quote, according to their respective numbers, end quote. Those numbers originally included, quote, free persons and 3/5 of all other persons, namely slaves, a result of the state's compromise. The framers excluded Indians not taxed Native Americans who were members of sovereign tribal nations, not citizens, from the count.
Pretty obvious then.
After the Civil War, Congress passed the 14th Amendment to recognize the rights of formerly enslaved. It states that congressional representation shall be apportioned among the several states according to the respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state. Again, excluding Indians not taxed under the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924, this population would then be granted citizenship. Congress tasked the Secretary of Commerce with carrying out the census in such form and content as he may determine, end quote. The president receives that data, is responsible for carrying out the apportionment calculations, and transmits the information to Congress. Echoing arguments against birthright citizenship, as we just said, critics on the right say that the 14th Amendment aimed to address the statues of former slaves, not masses of illegal migrants. They assert that including this population in the census artificially skews political power, effectively disenfranchises citizens, incentivizes states to adopt sanctuary policies, protecting people who are here illegally. And this goes on. You can read about it on our social media. Obviously, it's a very detailed plan on why this is so important to the Trump administration this time around, and would probably have a significant impact on the layout of this country and the seats and the states. And once again, what do we always say? If we can't make red states as red as they can make blue states blue, well, all of these kind of things factor into that.
To me, it's not even a red and blue thing. I get how it affects red. Totally. But this is an American thing. They're citizens or they're not citizens. You don't count non-citizens.
Right.
We didn't count Indians. They don't get birthright citizenship.
Right.
I mean, it's logical. It's not red or blue.
Well, in a
it's not
country with
political.
two normal parties, maybe that would be the case, Vin, but that's not the case here.
Yeah. What it's called, though, is it's called demographic destiny. New York Times wrote about it in 2012. Dan Bongino always pointed to that article because they've been doing this for a long, long time. They identified how they could flip the House, how they could gain more seats, and keep it that way, like Damon said, for eternity, because that was their plan. And even Joe Biden back in 2015 says it on video. He says that whites will be the absolute minority in this country. Why? Because he knows the plan. He was part of it when he had a brain, when he had a functioning cerebral cortex. Now, he's just floundering on a roadside, probably dumping in his pants. But the rest of the idiots who are doing this stuff are still doing it.
Well, it's not constitutional. The Supreme Court should have a clear path to rule on this thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, in our Supreme Court, it's a 6-3 vote. In a normal Supreme Court that actually do their job and read the Constitution, it's a 9-zip vote. It's just not even vague.
Well,
how is it vague?
You're saying 6-3.
I'm saying 6-3 because of what we got.
We've been disappointed before.
Yeah.
With the current makeup of the court.
Yeah, so I'll take 6-3.
Things that should be normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And again, it's all very interesting right now because the 14th Amendment, again, will come up not only in this, as we talk about this census and Trump's push to try to get this fixed, but obviously in the birthright citizenship cases as well.
Big issue.
All right, 13 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. More to do. Sports, news, all coming up right after this.
She is 82, one of our viewers.
Oh, nice. What's her name?
Watching the show. Her birthday, happy 4th. Is your birthday? Oh, your birthday's the 5th, not the 4th. Okay, she'll be 82 years old and wishing you many, many, many more birthdays. Thanks for watching.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Even Rick Delgado, he's with you on this. Hey, give him a harumph.
Harumph.
Yeah,
harumph.
There you go, Nancy. You got a harumph. We don't give out harumps that easily, just so you know.
Yo, Honky, we're going to be at the Truck Stop Bar in Truck World at 10:30. If you are in town, we're hanging out with some blue-haired commies.
Are you reading KDJ texts? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We love him.
Yeah. Yep. Another round, please.
Does he have a drinking problem? Yes, I'm trying to help him solve it.
Oh, man. Let's see what we got here. Social.
It's a big weekend for him too, right? With the 4th of July firecrackers.
Who?
Kevin Downey.
You know how he combs his hair.
I remember that. Who was that in the chat? I forget who that was.
Forget.
I laughed for a day. He cracked up when I said that. I said, "He got a guy in the chat. Said, you comb your hair with a firecracker." That was the funniest thing. When I announced that, right? Aaron almost fell off a chair. I was dying. That was so. I can't take credit for that one. That was a beauty.
That is a good one, though. We like it.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
That's a bombing down.
Our friend Doug Smith was just named about an hour ago the head of the ISIP GOP. Doug is
Saw that our friend Jesse Garcia got reelected.
Yeah.
His crew.
And Doug,
Excellent, Jesse. Well done, buddy.
we got to bring them both back on the show. They're long overdue, Big D. I'll gladly give up
Love
my
Jesse.
seat.
I don't know the other gentleman, but I know Jesse.
Doug Smith, great.
Yeah.
New York State Assemblyman, young, upcoming. You know, he's probably in his mid-30s. He's been on the show a number of times. His parents watch the show every night. They're great people as well, the Smiths. But yeah, so great band in the 80s, too. But yeah, Doug Smith is great. I love Doug.
It's got to be a
Good for him.
reference there, right? It's always got to be a
The
reference.
Smiths, yeah.
Yeah.
Rick Delgado used to play them on. No, you wouldn't play that. That music, the Smiths.
No, we didn't play them.
At the Bordy Barn? What was your place
you
again?
came to that was the Cure.
What was your place?
Not
the Bordy Barn.
No, the Gordy Barn.
The Gaudy Barn.
Mulcahy's and Wanta.
Oh, yeah, Mulcahy's.
That's a great
Well,
place.
Mulcahy's a great place.
They let you play there?
And we played at the
You must have been
Dublin
good.
Pub in New Hyde Park.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I sound like the blues on a Tuesday night. Let me talk to you about our friends at AMAC. It's America's birthday. Well, we all know that. You know how we do it here on Studio 6B. We love the fireworks, the parades, the red, white, and blue. But the real way to celebrate is to stand up and fight for the country. And that's exactly what AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is doing every single day. They're leading the charge to defend faith, family, and freedom, push back against the nonsense trying to tear this country apart. And right now, AMAC is making it easy for you to jump in and help. In honor of Independence Day, you can get 5 full years of AMAC. Hello! Let me say it again. 5 full years of AMAC. Just take a guess what the price is for 5 years of AMAC. Slick, what do you think the 5 years of AMAC membership?
If it was ARP, that'd probably be about $200.
All right, Delgado?
Well, he was saying if it was the other company, it was going to.
Yeah. Well, what do you think it is
I think
for what you get? Just take what's a reasonable 5-year price?
Oh, what it should be?
100 a year.
Should be like at least 100 a year.
Okay, Vin.
Yeah, I'm with these guys. It'd be about $99 a year.
$99 a year, so
99.
5 years, you can do the math. Well, right now, 5 years of AMAC membership is just $35.
Cinco.
Wow.
Hang on. What's 5 divided by 35?
I mean,
Wow.
that's 5 years of their magazine exclusive discounts,
$7
free resources. But most importantly, 5 years of being part of a national movement that's got your back and believes in America. Don't sit this one out. I mean, this is crazy if you don't take advantage of this. 5 years for $35. Go to amac.us/studio6B. amac.us/studio6B right now and join. Now, this audience has responded to AMAC overwhelmingly. But if you can hear my voice right now and you have not joined AMAC or you've been on the fence because, you're thinking about whatever, I mean, what better time to do this than right now? amac.us/studio6B. Celebrate your great nation this week. Protect it together. amac.us/studio6B. 5 full years of AMAC membership for just $35. I mean, just go there right now. All right, 19 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. That is a great deal.
That is a great.
Vinnie Mac's going to have some thoughts, but let's do some headline news since he got here late and he hasn't had a chance to do anything with Rick Delgado. Headline news brought to you by our friends at EternalLifecoin.com, all one word, EternalLifecoin.com. Really just a fantastic piece. If you have friends who are religious or believers or just spiritual and they want something to hold on to or give as a gift to another person, check it out, EternalLifecoin.com. It is a beautiful piece. Rick Delgado's got headline news. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, I don't know if you guys covered this because it was kind of breaking news as I was walking into the building a little while ago. You tell me if you've already noticed it. As President Trump says Israel has agreed to ceasefire conditions in Gaza, no response yet from Hamas.
Yeah, from what I heard, Israel agreed to it. And we didn't cover it,
okay.
and that they're apparently a deal in the works to get all the hostages back and get this thing done.
Well, then I'll jump to it. As President Trump said earlier today that Israel agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize a ceasefire deal. He says, my representatives had a long, productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize a 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end this war, President Trump said on Truth Social. He said the Qataris and the Egyptians, who have worked very hard to help bring peace, will deliver the final proposal, and I hope for the good of the Middle East that Hamas takes this deal because it will not get any better. It will only get worse. As he kind of throws a little comment in there to say, look, you saw what happened with Iran, right? Yeah. They thought they were going to get a better deal. Ask them now how their deal is going.
Hamas has got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost their supporter. We destroyed them, literally, the Iranian, and now this thing should end. Well, I think also one thing I'll add to that, a bunch of countries from the Middle East want to come in and help govern Gaza.
Right.
Which is a good thing, considering how corrupt it's been.
Well, after Trump made the comment about, taking it over and doing it his way.
I'm with him on that.
Basically, he was giving them an opportunity to jump in and said, no, we'll take care of it, which is, that's probably what he wanted.
We actually talked about that. If you remember, you and I had a conversation about that. I was like, I bet he's doing that just to get them to jump in.
Just to get them to jump in because
we were right.
And he doesn't want to be their nation building. He's made that very clear. But he got them scared to say, you know what, this is okay. We'll clean up this mess.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So let's see what happens with Hamas if they agree to the terms, and hopefully we'll have good news on that front. I don't know if you saw this, Damon. You were talking about the president traveling down to Alligator Alcatraz. Well, he was there today, like you mentioned. He toured the site of the new immigration detention center in South Florida that state officials are calling Alligator Alcatraz. Here is President Trump with Governor DeSantis confirming what else is going to happen now that they've got this facility opened. Here is cut number 2, President Trump and Governor DeSantis, cut number 2.
This is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two. So they're not going to be detained, hopefully, for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now, that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2 the way founders intended. But you still have bureaucracy. So we want to cut through that so that we have an efficient operation between Florida and DHS to get the removal of these illegals done.
Yeah, so there it is, the best governor in the country showing again how it's done. He said they expect the first occupants of the detention center to arrive tomorrow. And DeSantis said the site has been modified in just 8 days to accommodate the detainees and called the center an effective way to increase numbers of removals and deportations of unauthorized migrants in the state as he seeks help from the federal government's the federal government's deportation efforts. Mr. Trump, of course, invited the press to join the tour of the facility that he called so professional and so well done.
And right after the governor said that, Trump was asked a question, and he said, basically, in effect, he said, by the way, why is it there's only one governor, this guy, talking like this?
Yeah.
This shouldn't be the only place deputizing these people to get this done faster. We should not have it. Certainly the blue states don't want to do it. But why is this the only red state that's been talking about it? And it just goes back to what we always say. They're always their only red state talking about all of this stuff.
Yeah,
that's true.
They set the ceiling for red state governors.
Yeah, it's amazing. But Governor DeSantis does not let us down, and who knows what he's setting himself up for? Because
I really like that guy. I always have.
His term ends next year.
Yeah.
He can't run again.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens where his next endeavor politically will end up.
Possible VP, maybe.
Possible. You got JD on the top.
I would like that.
Yeah.
I think that either of these guys at the top would be a winning formula. I can't see JD being VP again, but either guy.
Or maybe DeSantis just says, you know what, I'm not going to run, but make me Secretary of State and I'll make sure you get elected.
How about he replaces Clarence Thomas? Or
that's
boy.
a good one too.
That's true. He is.
That would be epic, actually.
That's powerful, man.
And that would be a long time. He's a young guy.
That's the kind of guy you need there too, because he's going to sit in those meetings and not take any crap.
He could do more there. He really could. He's a real influential person too. He'll really lean on the other ones. I think he'd be great. That's a great call, Big D.
All right, what else?
All right. Well, I don't know if you saw this, but what should have been a slam dunk for a Representative Democrat Jamie Raskin to answer when he's asked if he supports no tax on tips. Well, he was on he was on TV, of course, and he almost looked like he was having trouble hearing it. Here's cut number 1. Check this out.
No taxes on tips, which is part of this bill for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it.
So he hasn't looked at. There's no tax. It's no tax on tips, which means
there's
the
not
money
much to look at.
The money that the tip person
let me
gets,
examine the language.
They just throw in the pocket. And the government
26 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
What a worm.
Oh, it's like on Spies Like Us with Chevy Chase, but they can't get the question. Tips are not salary or wages.
Well, what about social?
Because
tipping's not a requirement.
Right. Engineers probably don't, but if they do,
yeah, it was raining when he came in. It was raining pretty good. Yeah, why?
Right, so you think they should not
be
butting
some lightning
in
rolling in. I didn't see that when I was out there, but it was definitely raining hard.
Where everybody stands on it.
Yeah, you got a heavy rain coming.
I do support it because
they took a power hit in the control room a little bit.
Oh, we had a terrible storm in New York. We just lost power, but we didn't lose power out here.
No, not at all.
Oh, Delgado's here now. We're beamed up, man.
My pacemaker went off. I'm good.
I want to say hello. James Taylor is in the chat. How do you like that one?
Sweet baby James?
Yeah, well, James Taylor, first-time listener alert. Could you guys please say hi to my sister, Mary Beth? I just got her watching, and she really likes the show and wants to join the LFS 6B family.
Yeah.
Hand pink waving.
There's a young cowboy.
There you go. Hello, Mary Beth. How you doing?
Mary Beth Taylor. Huh? MBT.
Yeah.
Glad to see you there, Mary Beth.
They're in the YouTube chat.
No James Taylor jokes, okay? That's your name.
Nope.
It's like someone's name being Tom Cruise.
You hear the one about him and Carly Simon?
His first album, still his best album.
You've Got a Friend is one of the greatest songs ever.
What?
You've Got a Friend.
Fire and Ice?
Oh, my God.
Fire and Rain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire and Rain. And what is it? You Got a Friend, right? You Got a Friend.
That was Carole King.
Yeah.
Carole King wrote that.
And he sang it.
But Fire and Ice,
his
Fire and Rain,
That's
he wrote
Pat
that.
Benatar. Byron.
You know,
what screen, Aaron?
Cameron, stand by.
It's almost Independence Day, and all of America will be celebrating. But here in Real America's Voice, we want to celebrate you. Every day from June 30th through July 4th, we're giving away a handcrafted, hand-painted hardwood flag to one lucky RAV viewer. These beautiful flags come from YourAmericanFlagStore.com, where 10% of every purchase goes to Your American Flag Foundation. Scan the QR code to opt in for your chance to win and receive future RAV promotions from our hearts for your home. Use code RAV for free shipping.
I like that, man. Those are good-looking flags there. 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Tuesday night, July 1st. Glad you're in. Slick's doing sports. Delgado's doing headline news. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts on some news as well. We'll get back to him. Aaron and Fran holding it down. We just had, we got a terrible storm here in New York. We just had, I don't know if lightning hit the building or what happened, but we had a power surge here in the studio.
Thank you.
And Aaron's main screen that she switches the show right now is completely gone. So she's absolutely flying blind right now. So if she switches to the camera that's shooting the ceiling, I mean, just don't blame her.
It's like Harry's in the control room again.
It might as well be Harry.
It's a normal day for Harry.
So please welcome back to the show here on behalf of Tax Network USA, Cameron Kinsey. Cameron, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks so much for having me on.
Very well. It's always a pleasure to have you on and talk about Tax Network. Obviously, we always talk about if you missed the April 15th deadline, there's still hope. But let's talk about Tax Network USA. How do they work? And maybe you could give us a little overview of how they work with clients, how they help clients, but most importantly, explain how the tax preparation services actually work.
Yeah, so we make the tax prep simple and strategic. It starts with a direct consultation with one of our team members. We have a robust team of CPAs, licensed attorneys, people who formerly worked at the IRS, so they know the tax codes inside and out. They know their strategy. And during that direct consultation, that's really where we dig a little bit deeper into your financial picture. And if you do decide that you want to move forward after that free call, we take it from there, basically acting as a liaison between you and the IRS. Flagging every deduction, fixing any errors, making sure that your filing is accurate and audit proof. So even though tax season's over, like you mentioned, if you've gotten letters in the mail from the IRS or think something's wrong with a previous return, now's really the time to act.
And you can go to tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV. Let's talk about the process a little bit, maybe the timing of it. How long does it typically take from let's say consultation to kind of somewhat of a moving towards a resolution? Is there kind of a time frame people can expect?
Yeah, every case is different, but from the first one, it's fast. We usually stop wage garnishments, freeze collections almost immediately. From there, full resolutions like settlements or lien removals take a little bit longer, sometimes a few months, just depending on the complexity of your case. But from the second your call, we're in your corner through and through. We're handling the IRS for you. We're talking to them directly, so you're not having to deal with that when you go home to your loved ones. So they're not calling, you're not stressed, and the progress starts right away.
And obviously, most people think about, individuals when it comes to these kind of issues. But do you guys work with small businesses? And is there any kind of relief, or do you have any kind of plans for small businesses who might be in trouble?
Absolutely. We use every single one of them. We negotiate payment plans, penalty relief, sometimes even settlements that reduce what you owe. But the timing does matter in this case, because the longer you wait, the fewer options that you may have, penalties start to increase. So we take this very seriously, though, because we know that small businesses are really the economic engine of this country. So our job is to make sure that the IRS doesn't crush yours with bureaucratic overreach.
We're speaking with Cameron Kinsey. She's here on behalf of Tax Network USA. Go to tnusa.com/RAV, USA, all one word, tnusa.com/Rav. Cameron, thanks for giving us a few moments. Always appreciate you having on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you.
All right, there you go. Cameron Kinsey, Tax Network USA. Go to tnusa.com/Rav, tnusa.com/Rav. Live from Studio 6B, 34 past the hour, Real America's Voice. We'll do some more sports and news with Delgado here in a second, but Vinnie Mac's here. Vinnie Mac, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about this FBI investigation into the Chinese folks that tried to fix our election. But one thing before I get into that, I saw a note about Denmark banning. Rick and I were talking about this, by the way. I think it was Friday night or maybe the night before. Banning burqas and telling Muslims in their country to adjust to their culture and rules or face legal issues or leave. This is really, really good because we were talking about London and the Sharia law in London. We look at in Minnesota where there are areas of Minnesota that are just governed by themselves.
You know, it's scary too, Vin. I saw a video today. It looks like Texas, and they're talking about Texas being the largest or the most mosques that are being built right now in this country is happening in Texas. And they were out there hooping and hollering today.
You know, I can almost deal with the mosque thing, but I can't deal with bringing that entire culture, religion, laws, and everything into a country that has their own laws.
Right.
You come here. So what Denmark's doing, maybe that's a good sign.
Yeah,
I hope it is. Anyhow, getting back to this FBI report, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show that the Chinese manufactured fake driver's licenses to influence the election. And the FBI director, when it was asked about it, Christopher Wray at the time said, no, nothing like that's happened and blah, blah, blah. Well, they have found emails that actually implicate Wray in saying that, and they found emails that are trying to suppress it within the FBI. Once again, proving to us the corruption and the politicization of one of our top law enforcement agency. So now we have our senators looking into this. Kash Patel's looking into it. He sent it over to Chuck Grassley to investigate that. Hopefully something happens here. There's been talk already about Chris Wray, facing legal being. I think that I don't know if they filed a legal criminal complaint against him or not. But this is the kind of stuff that has to be taken care of. We have to do this. He got up there and lied to the country about the election interference going on, and it's the Chinese. The same Chinese that are out there spying on our U.S. Navy bases. They just arrested a couple of these guys for working with the Chinese Ministry of State Security and taking pictures and all these clandestine, efforts with the Chinese. We have our own FBI director protecting the Chinese and lying to our folks. And we have finally someone in place, Kash Patel, who, by the way, is a big hockey fan. I love that guy. Big New York Islander fan there, Slick, as well, right?
Yes,
happy about the draft pick. But we have people finally taking account to it, and I'm happy to see it. So these types of controversies, really, really get to me as I read about them and hear about them because there's just far too many. I feel like every day there's one. The good news is there's far too many because they're finding them and they're going after them and they're getting exposed. The bad news is there's far too many and they've been getting away with a lot of nonsense over the years and affecting our country. So that's what's been on my mind there today, Dave.
One of the other things that's getting exposed, and I happen to see this piece come out, I believe, tonight in Revolver News, Darren Beatty's place over there, and they do great stuff. Was this the piece they have out on Act Blue. And we've been talking about this on and off for quite a while. Act Blue, really a dirty front group laundering operation from the Democrat Party. And the piece that they have out in Revolver tonight, or I guess maybe it came out yesterday, it's official, Act Blue busted and they're cornered with nowhere to run. The walls are finally closing in on one of the left's dirtiest operations, and it's about time. So
one by one, though, they're going after these things. Like the DOJ is doing their job, Cash is doing their job. We've all been saying, what's going on? When are they arresting people and doing the loss? Well, 6 months. 6 months in, there's a lot happening that we already know about. Who knows what's happening that we don't know about?
Hey, did Pam Bondi make some Epstein comments today?
I don't know. I didn't see. Did she?
Somebody was asking for an Epstein update earlier.
I thought I maybe heard.
I was leaving that out.
Any updates?
Maybe she was watching the show last night, getting worried about you and Paul's timeline coming up.
My timeline, I admit, is already up.
All right.
But Paul's is still. He's still got a lifeline.
You're officially a loser, right?
Yeah.
Paul's got some time left.
Wait a second. He went a little too far there, didn't he?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Why does it have to be personal?
Yeah, why does it got to be personal?
Well, I don't know, because it just is.
Don't bring his socks into
It's neither sphere nor there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. It's neither sphere nor there, so don't worry about it.
All right there, Fat Fonzie. What else?
Oh,
Shots fired!
Right to the
3
fat
days
joke.
before 4th of July.
Right to the fat joke.
What did I say?
Of course.
Fireworks. Shots fired from the bow.
Can't we all just get along?
Let's do some more headline news.
Oh, with who?
Really?
Oh, the guy who wears his shirt's too small. Yeah, that would be Rick Delgado. Delgado, what else is going on?
Where's a youth lodge?
Well, of course, President Trump is weighing in on the New York City mayor's race, and he praised Mayor Adams' re-election bid and threatens Mamdani with arrest if he interferes with ICE. I don't know if you heard him talking about how they're not going to let, if he wins, he's going to try to outlaw ICE in New York City. I don't know exactly how you do that.
Trump said today, I'm arrested.
Right.
Well, he should be. He's breaking the law.
He should be, yeah.
He probably should be anyway, right?
Well, here is President Trump, cut number 4, talking about who could be the next mayor of New York City, Zohan the Destroyer. Cut number 4, check this out.
And ideally, he's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. You know, I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you got a lot of them like that. And you see AOC, she's out there with her, bad IQ. She's out there ranting and raving about how wonderful he is. And look, so far he's winning. He still has a race to win, but so far he's winning, and he has an advantage as a Democrat in New York City. I was there a long time ago, and it was a long time since a Republican won the city.
Yeah, so there he is talking about the mayor's race. Of course, Mayor Adams, you might remember, has faced corruption and bribery charges, and what both the mayor and Trump have argued was political retribution for speaking out against former President Joe Biden's border policies. And the federal probe leading to the historic indictment against Adams began in 2021, September of that year, according to court documents before the mayor publicly called out Biden over the migrant crisis. Another person who's kind of weighed into this Mamdani, Zohan the Destroyer stuff is Stephen A. Smith, believe it or not, Slick.
Yeah.
Love him.
Stephen A., he warned Democrats not to back candidates whose politics resemble those of the New York City mayor primary winner, Zohan Mamdani. Here he is, doing Stephen A. Cut number 5. Check this out.
Why are people from all over the world trying to come across our borders? Because it's the land of opportunity. Ooh. And if you're Mamdani and you're saying, no, because I saw him on national television indicate this. I'm not quoting him verbatim, so if I misquote him in any way, I apologize, but I don't think I am. I saw him on NBC this past week and Meet the Press. And he was asked about, billionaires, and he was talking about how nobody needs $1 billion. What? What? That's anti-American.
Yep. Yeah, that's true.
That's anti-American. Of course, you should pay your fair share in taxes. Of course, you shouldn't be able to find loopholes to avoid you paying taxes, especially when you're making that kind of money.
Aaron?
Of course those things are true.
Yes, he also made sure to warn Democrats that they would have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency if guys like this end up being elected to office. So there you have it.
Face of the midterm.
Doesn't he do sports, Stephen A? He should stay in his lane. Even so.
The problem with them, this is why I was going to blow that clip up, is because they undersell how radical he is, even. They make him sound like he's an Islamist, jihadist radical.
Yeah.
Call him what he is.
Bad.
All right, we'll wrap it up for a Tuesday right after this, live from Studio 6B.
Hey, big, beautiful Bill.
You'll pronounce my last name correctly one of these days. We'll get to that. It'll be another subject.
He's a beaut.
Be another subject.
Is it butter?
You Utes.
It's a butte.
There's someone on social media. They mentioned something I heard about today, and I believe this is something you probably got your hands in. The latest evidence pointing to a second shooter in Butler, Pennsylvania.
I heard that.
That there was a piece on that today. Have you heard much about
today?
that?
I've always thought that too.
Well, now they're actually talking about it.
Where?
They don't say other than that there's evidence pointing to that. It could be.
I mean, where are they talking about?
Butler? I mean, where?
Oh,
on social media?
Oh, I'm sorry. Stitchfield.
Okay.
Had a great piece on it
before us
today. That's Paula. I hope I pronounced your name right. Veda? Is that right? Paula Veda? Well, listen, I get my name mispronounced all the time. So, I apologize if I do that to you. Delgado's got a problem with it. Just call me Vinnie Mac. You don't have to even worry about that.
Vinnie Mac?
All right. Yeah, you could have mispronounced Mac now. Come on,
Vinnie Mac.
Mac and Row. There's Big Mac. There's Mac Truck.
You can go Mach 1.
Mach 1.
Mach 2.
Yeah. I have no problem with
Damon,
that.
it's not fair that you always blow up all Delgado's pieces. But he's the only one who plays clips. Who else am I going to blow up? I was only blowing it up because we had to hit the break. Sometimes, you don't see things. Don't.
Uh-oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
Don't read into things.
Yeah,
don't read into that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Damon's got a plan.
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Right. The bomb was a dud.
Yes.
Like the clip.
There's a bomb in there.
It's one of the few things that didn't blow up in here tonight.
Oh, must be the power outage.
I think the bomb went off early when he called him Fat Fonzie. The bomb dropped.
Yeah, but I think that he
shot his
all
load
bombs.
early. You shot your load early, Delgado.
Yeah. But Fat Fonzie? I mean, where does that come from?
Oh, that's an old one.
That's an old one?
That's like a 4-year run here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
That's circa 2021, 22.
I'm from out of town.
Yeah, that's
familiar
Can we
with your
get
customs.
Zohan the Destroyer on the show?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh,
yeah, we'll make an effort to do that.
Let's effort that.
You got a better chance of us getting a Democratic host on the show.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from studio.
I don't even know what just happened.
Tuesday.
Let me have more of this.
On a Tuesday,
whiskey
July
over
1st.
here.
Glad you're in Real America's Voice. Slick's doing sports. Going to do some more right now. Then we'll get to Delgado's headlines. To wrap it up on a Tuesday night, Aaron and Fran, of course, holding it down as always. Slickstars Does Sports is brought to you by our friend Mike Lindell at My Pillow. Use code LFS6B at checkout. Slickster, let's wrap it up here. What's else going on?
The big upsets continue coming out of Wimbledon, Big D. Number 2, Goff, Cuckoo for Coco Goff. She was upset in the first round at Wimbledon by Yastremska, not Yastremski. This is ESPN News. Wimbledon, England. Coco Goff became just the third woman in the Open era to lose in the first round at Wimbledon right after winning the championship at the French Open. Limited 7-6, 6-1 by unseeded Diana Yastremska of Ukraine on Tuesday night. The number 2 ranked Goff made mistake after mistake at number 1 court, finishing with just 6 winners and a total of 29 unforced errors that included 9 double faults. This sounds just like what happened to Jessica Pegula. Diana started off playing strong. Goff said, "I couldn't find my footing out there today." Goff joined another highly seeded American, number 3, Jessica Pegula, in bowing out on day 2 of the tournament. It marked the first women's major in the Open era in which 2 of the top 3 seeds lost their opening matches, according to ESPN research. So historical stuff happening with these upsets. Another big upset was the men's world number 3 Alexander Zverev.
Yeah,
He's great. He lost to Arthur Rinderknech in 5 sets. Crazy match. I'm going to try to catch the replay of that because it was great. Of course, world number 1 Jannik Sinner. He won easily in 3 sets, and of course the great Novak Djokovic also won today in 4 sets. But a couple of big upsets, including a men's world number 3.
There's a lot of parity.
Going out.
It's like the NHL. Professional tennis. There's a lot of parity amongst these players right now. A lot. Even to 100, 120. Yep. It's not a huge difference.
Didn't you used to play tennis, Finn?
I still do. I play tennis. I played competitive tennis, so I can relate to this.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
No.
Now he's a pickleball
guy.
He's in pickleball. He narrowed his game. And Big D, just one more. You know what today is? July 1st. What is today in the world of sports? July 1st. Anybody know?
July 1st.
Historic.
Is it?
Guys, happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Oh, right.
Mets star and his contract is celebrated every July 1st. A couple of people in the chat even brought us my attention, but I had it before the show.
What a great contract.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, you got to give that guy credit.
It doesn't expire until 2035, by the way. So Chris Seawick of Yahoo Sports. For 16 seasons, Bobby Bonilla put up excellent numbers in the majors. He was a great utility player over that period, making 6 All-Star games and finishing in the top 3 in MVP voting twice. But for all his accomplishments as a player, Bonilla is far more remembered for what came after. In baseball circles, July 1 is recognized as Bobby Bonilla Day. On that day, baseball fans in the know celebrate one extremely smart decision by Bonilla and his agent when he was a member of the New York Mets. Bonilla is celebrated every July 1st because that's the day the Mets have to pay him $1.2 million. Bonilla hasn't played in the majors since 2001, but he receives yearly checks for the Mets after agreeing to a deferred deal. The deal was like $5 million. It was like $5.9 million in 2001, and he decided to take the deal deferred. The Mets just wanted to get rid of him, but they didn't want to pay him a cash payout.
Yeah.
And he extended that deal. Genius.
Yeah.
8% interest. See what 8% interest does for your money.
He was a bust in New York, Bar. I remember those days. He was a damn good player for Pittsburgh.
He was.
And just couldn't get it done here,
Everybody ends up on the Mets. They end up...
So, anyway, happy Bobby Bonilla Day as to the Mets' chagrin. Mets got their own problems, as Big D reported last night with their flag debacle. They haven't won a game. They won one game out of like 9 or 10, I think, since they had the pride flag for their national anthem.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
3-13, yeah.
National anthem was more
They'll
like
be back. They got a good team.
National disaster. Well, we'll see.
You can't lose all those games.
Well, let's just hope they handle their national anthems and Star Spangled Banners in a more appropriate way.
You know what? Woke. That's what happens with woke.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bad luck.
And there's and it's a Subway Series weekend too.
Ooh.
So go Yankees.
Wow. Yankees are playing poorly. The Mets are playing poorly.
Yeah.
This will wake the Mets up. They play really well against the Yanks.
Subway Series, that's a good one, Rick.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that's Rapid Sports. Big D, back to you.
All right, Slick, very good. 9 minutes to the hour. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. Let's do some more headlines with Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, here on, I know you guys, we were talking about the other day, Human Health Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Love him.
Sitting in with Tucker Carlson during an interview, and he had some things to say. He talked about, being in President Trump's cabinet, but he also talked about the president and how he goes about picking talent. Here he is, cut number 3, RFK Jr., talking about that fact of how President Trump actually qualifies people to be in the cabinet. Cut 3, check this out.
One of the things with President Trump is that he really knows how to pick talent. And he, and I'm not talking about me, but the other people on there, when you sit in those cabinet meetings, and every one of those people is incredibly erudite and just fluid in the way that they speak and very, very comfortable. And they're, one of the things that President Trump did when he picked the cabinet, and I was on the transition team, so I watched what he was doing. For every of one of the positions that he picked, he wanted to see 3 clips of them performing on TV. And so, he's very conscious of the way of that these people are going to be out selling his program to the public, and that he needs people who are, good salespeople, not only good administrators, but that they can communicate a message to the public.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah, it is important. And it's something you forget about.
It's not silly. I mean, it's a really good point.
At first, you think, it's kind of shallow. But when you stop and think, it's like, oh, that does kind of make sense, because microphones are going to be thrown in your face all the time. You're going to come under, heavy scrutiny and questions. And you got to be able to, deliver his message.
Communicate it properly. Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. I think that's so smart. He's so savvy.
Something I didn't even think about. He also talked about Marco Rubio, who has significantly impressed him. He used to think he was just another neocon policy hawk, but as he's grown closer to the people in the cabinet, he says Marco Rubio is the funniest guy in the cabinet. He says things that make people belly laugh at every meeting, Kennedy said.
Doesn't he hold like 13 seats for different positions?
I was never very, let's say, approving of Marco because of the kind of neocon war hawk he was, but he's had an incredible transformation. I think he's very aligned on most issues, including Ukraine. And, he says he's most impressed with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So there you have it.
Out of everybody in that cabinet,
RFK
he's the guy that stands out to me, that has really stepped up and stands out.
Yeah.
As a senator, what'd you think of him?
He was...
Yeah, I mean, he was okay.
You know what happened? 2016 election happened, and he got slammed by Corpus Christi down there.
Yeah,
and he wasn't the same after that. He was out of the race.
It's pretty interesting to see people take Rubio, not even Rubio, to task over pulling the visa for this artist Bob Vylan or whatever his name is in England, who performed at the Glastonbury Music Festival, saying that, it's his First Amendment right to say what he said. Okay, that may be true. That's fine. But it's also Marco Rubio's right to say, getting a visa to come here to perform and make money off the American people is not a right, it's a privilege. And we're deciding not to extend you that privilege because we think you're a creep.
Not only that, he's not a citizen.
Yeah, he has to come on a visa to perform.
He doesn't have our rights. See, that's the whole argument from the Democrats. They want to give everybody around the world our rights. Meanwhile, they don't have them. It drives me nuts.
And that's been part of the core problem we faced with all the immigration, all this craziness, is these crazy people influencing people in our country with their America hate. Rubio's doing exactly the right thing. I think we all know that, but it's just great to see someone stepping up and taking the abuse. He's really been a winner for us.
Yeah, he's definitely delivering. So there you have it, David.
As always, we salute our military, active and inactive, police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us, everybody that keeps the country moving, all our truckers, all our farmers. Thanks, guys, on the show. Aaron, Frank, great job as always. Most of all, though, thank you. Live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. back here, Real America's Voice, live from Studio 6B. Have a good night, everybody.